Just
See.
let me see the video settings. Original. Hi, Alisha.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Welcome to the Enterprising Conversation Channel.
Thank you for having me. I'm really honored to be here.
I'm so happy to have you as our inspiring guest today. Uh, yeah, just tell us, Alisha, who are you? Who is Alisha? What would you like us to know about you?
So, my name is Alisha Lalbeharie, and I am 26 years old. I am a podiatrist by profession, and I own a medical practice known as Foot Motion Podiatry, which is located in Northern KZN. I have three branches, and yeah, so I am a young, inspiring female entrepreneur, and I'm trying to grow my business in every way possible that I can. Yeah.
That's so wonderful, and I can assure you that even as an emerging enterprise, you are an inspiring entrepreneur. But something that kind of puzzled me when I met you, podiatrist, what is that? Just tell the likes of me. I didn't really know. I know maybe what you do because when you explained, I could identify, but what is a podiatrist?
So it's a very common question. So don't worry, I get this a lot. My own family members, when I was initially studying to be a podiatrist, they were like, "What is that?" So
Mm.
a podiatrist is a lower limb medical professional. So we deal with medical conditions associated with your lower limb. So that's from your hips all the way down to your toenails. So something we would see is ingrown toenails, arch pain, foot pain, heel pain, blood flow issues, and we're very important when it comes to the care of people living with diabetes because I mean, we help prevent amputations from taking place. So we
Wow.
play a very, very important role in keeping your feet healthy.
You've just made me respect your profession, 50% more because limbs, diabetes, those are serious ailments in our society. So you are fulfilling a very big role. And now tell me, Alisha, your business, Alisha Podiatrist Pty Limited, it's a partnership, by the way, isn't it? Or how
It's an
do you
incorporation. So it's an incorporate.
incorporated?
Yes.
Okay, tell me, what does it, when did it start? Just tell me anything that you'd like us to know about Alisha Podiatrist Incorporated.
So I initially started my business off as a sole proprietor in
Mhm.
2020. So I opened up my business early February of 2020, just before COVID had hit. And no one expected COVID. I mean, literally, no one expected
What
COVID.
a
So we
surprise.
I mean, like starting off a business in a town that's like hasn't seen a podiatrist, no one's been exposed to a podiatrist. It was already
Mm.
hard for me to start. So now with COVID added into the mix, I was like, oh, well, at least it can't get worse than this. So
Okay,
I
I'm just
initially,
trying to make myself comfortable here. There
no,
are
it's okay, don't stress.
moving dynamics that I cannot control. Okay,
No,
yeah,
true.
COVID it was a tragedy and a great opportunity for the likes of you.
That is true. So with COVID, I had to adapt in many ways. And what happened was 2020 started off in my first practice. I no longer have that practice in that specific space. We've moved to a lot bigger spaces.
Mhm.
So that's in Residency Road now. And yeah, so 2020, I initially started, and it's been almost 5 years practice. I've established three branches across Northern KZN. I
Wow.
am now for the Podiatry Association of South Africa. I've won a few awards. And yeah, so I'm trying everything in terms of building my incorporation because last year, 2023, I registered my business as an incorporation in terms of growth
Mhm.
because what I see myself building in the next few years is many practices across South Africa and actually employing podiatrists in there and growing from there. So that is my goal in the next 3 to 5 years. So that's initially where the incorporation and actually registering my business properly came
Oh,
from.
that's wonderful. You have even touched on some of the questions that I would like us to dive into in more detail. And just tell me, in terms of your business, what does one need to know in order to do the kind of business that you're doing? What are the key success factors?
So first you have to be a qualified podiatrist.
Yeah, that you
So
can't go around.
very true. You have to have the qualification as a podiatrist, and that you would need to apply to the University of Johannesburg because it's the only university on the entire continent of Africa that offers this degree or this qualification, which
Wow,
is
I
insane.
didn't I didn't expect that one. I mean, it was quite a discovery for me to meet somebody like you who does that line of work. But the fact that you can only study at the University of Johannesburg, that is something else, Alisha. That increases the value of your stock by another by 1,000-fold. Wow. Yeah, I think I interjected you. You can proceed.
No,
University.
no, it's okay. So you study at the University of Johannesburg, and it's a 4-year course.
Hmm.
And after you, what you call it, qualify as a podiatrist, there's not many public posts, which there are podiatrists around South Africa that are we're trying to change that. We've introducing more public posts into government settings. But my initial plan after I finished university was to open up a private practice, and I did that. Where the funding came from was from family, and then that's how I initially started my business. And yeah, I tried to grow from there. But to set up a private practice, I know owning a business, getting financial assistance from, I mean, like financial institutions like the bank, it is quite hard, but that's where government funding comes into play. And that's, I'm a recipient of a government funding for machinery within my practice. So it's really been very, very helpful.
Or
So
what kind of
initially
funding
starting
is
a
that? Was it
practice.
a grant or how did you access that one?
So I initially got exposed to CEDA
Mhm.
last year, and I was looking around for ways of expanding my practice in terms of buying equipment, maybe purchasing property, purchasing maybe clinics or whatever it may be. And I came across CEDA,
Mm.
and I initially then, and my business consultant was very, very helpful. She actually recommended that I apply for a grant
Mhm.
and give her all the documentation, what equipment do we need. She helped me a lot during that process. And after that, I actually got grant for machinery for my 3D printer.
Alisha, you uh, make me so excited when you say that. Or how can I put it? I wanted you to comment on the overall small business support ecosystem, your experience. I mean, obviously, you've given me that particular one positive experience, and I think it has been very critical to the development of your business. Overall, what would you say is your experience of business support services, be it from your CEDA, government, directly, and any other private players that you have encountered? Do you feel that we are doing enough as a country to support uh, pe- important people like yourself? Because entrepreneurship is sorely needed, especially in the area of specialization where you find yourself.
Sorry, I think can you hear me nicely? My dogs are just
I can hear you
going
loud and clear.
perfect.
Mm.
When I was in university, we had a subject that would help us grow a business and initially start a private practice. But out of my experience, I don't think it fully equipped me the way that it should have,
Mhm.
just coming out and now needing to start a business, being an entrepreneur.
Mm.
So I learned a lot within surrounding myself with different peers that had already had other practices, other medical professionals, to ask them, okay, so how do I go about getting patients? How do I go about networking, referrals, registering for medical aids, all of these things? And that initially helped kickstart my business. But when it comes to the government's involvement, I feel that they've really helped me in terms of preparing me for business because I did the business course with NYDA
Mm-hmm.
because you have to do that before you get any sort of government funding. So I actually completed that with the NYDA in about April. And that was very, very, very beneficial because I mean, like, we were sitting in a group together and they were teaching us different ways about marketing and sales and growing your practice, financial needs that you may have. And so I've got that certificate from the NYDA. And then when I got introduced with CEDA, I didn't know that the government actually funds businesses or funds different things and can
Wow.
buy you equipment or can help you succeed. And it's insane the amount of assistance there is out there. We just have to
Wow.
look for it
Ah.
because you can't sit back and be like, oh, I want funding, and then just
Mm,
think that it'll come to you. You have to go out there and actually ask these questions. Who
mm,
can I ask? What sort of government funding is there?
mm.
And when I initially came across CEDA, it's like life changing because now I've
Wow.
been introduced to CIFA, which is like almost like a 10% grant, and then the rest is like a loan. But it's
Mm.
still help, right? You know, it's still
It
something.
does.
And if it wasn't for CEDA, I wouldn't have been introduced to yourself or Sotaba. And you
Mm-hmm.
guys have been such and like invaluable to my business. Honestly, your guidance. I mean, like, I don't know, simple things like the balance sheet that you need to keep like a petty cash journal or like simple things that can
Mm.
change the way you manage your finances and make sure
Mm.
that you record like everything. Because you never know where money goes unless you physically look at it.
Wow. Speaking about our the mentorship process, it's so funny that I when I met you, I was supposed to exchange information with you, but honestly speaking, you just ended up inspiring me as well as an
Oh,
entrepreneur because I like said, wow. But and I would like to state that generally in Ladysmith, the young people in Ladysmith, the youth, I don't know what is it. There is something about them, the youth, as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. But obviously, you were one of those exceptional entrepreneurs. Tell me, did the fact that you are a youth, you are a female for that matter, did you find that it slowed down your progress somewhere, somehow?
so I think my drive, I'm gonna sort of phrase this coming from my drive. I come from a home with a single mom and an older sister,
Mm,
and my childhood wasn't very easy. I mean, like sometimes you would never know, like financial wise, it was never stable.
mm,
Tried everything. She pushed and she made sure that both her kids are now qualified.
mm,
And yeah, so I've learned my drive from my mom, and I don't want to be put in that sort of situation again. And I don't want to put my family in sort
mm,
of that situation again. I never put my mom in a situation like that again. So I
mm,
feel like that drives me to have that fire underneath me to say, you know
mm,
what? I'm gonna make my life a little bit better than what my parents or my grandparents' lives were. So that I think what fuels me and what drives me and what really wants me to go out there and get those opportunities. And if there's no opportunities, make those opportunities and just create as many things as I would like. And from my success, I would then be able to help another family. I mean, my receptionist paid off her house,
mm,
which is insane. You help people, you set it forward.
mm.
So I feel like entrepreneurs, especially youth entrepreneurs, we're there. I feel like sometimes we just have to have a spotlight on us because there's a lot of us.
Mm,
It's just the government and people have to take time to say, okay, like what is the youth actually doing? Because we're doing a
yeah.
lot.
Mm.
I think we just need that extra microscope to say, what are they actually doing?
Absolutely. Somebody must lead you, help lead you to your success. And I like the
100%.
fact that you use the family situation, the family situation to help inspire you to want to achieve more. Growing up in a single in a single parent household, a female for that matter, looking up to this independent, strong mother who's raising you up. Yeah, it's amazing because in a family, you can tell yourself, I don't want to be like my mom as far as, or my parents as far as their economic situation is concerned. But at the same time, you draw from your parents, from your family, those important values, that will help you rise and even maybe surpass the level that they went up to in life. And in the process, just enjoy yourself, sort of repaying paying back the favor that they've done, raising you up and giving you those important values. Yeah, the more you talk, the more you just raise many things that one would like to talk about. But overall, it's all positive. It's very inspirational. I know you touched upon the next issue, but what would you say were the key moments in the evolution of your business, in the development of your business?
My first patient. My first ever patient. I feel like that's when it started, because seeing patients in university is different, because
Mm,
I mean, like, you're behind a brand, you're behind University of Johannesburg.
mm,
These are
mm,
students, they're coming out, they're trustworthy and everything. But when you're on your own, it's different, because it's just you. And now you get a patient coming in and it's just you that they look at. You're experiencing your brand, they're experiencing your care. So I
mm,
feel like my first patient was one of the really strong um, points in my life where I'm like, okay, so I can actually change someone's health. I can actually make someone feel better. I mean, like, I know what I'm doing. You
mm,
had that little bit of imposter syndrome when you're first starting out, and you like, can I really start a practice? Can I really grow a business? Can I really care for someone?
mm.
And when I saw my first patient and that patient left happy, and they still come back to this day, which is great. You
Wow.
build those long-term relationships. It's insane. I was like, okay, so I can physically do this, right?
Wow.
So that was one of the really big moments in my career.
Mm,
The second one, I think, was when doctors that I looked up to,
mhm.
surrounding, like, the normal doctors that I looked up to, the physicians, the orthopedic specialists, even the GPs, they started contacting me to be like, okay, Alisha, we know you're a podiatrist. What is your take on this sort of condition? And I was like, you calling me? Really? It's just, me. Because your whole life you're surrounded by these doctors and you look up to them. You're like, one day I really want to be like you.
Yeah.
And then for the next years or so to come, these doctors, I can now happily say, some of them I call my friends.
Wow.
And like, some of them have become family. That's how close we've grown this relationship. And I feel like when you build those networks and you build those sort of surroundings, it's something that's really, really changed forever.
I
Yeah.
mean, a relationship is everything. I mean, you
It's
can't go it alone in life. Everything is connected. You are so right. And it's something that, as a mentor, I'm always talking about, that relationships are important in business. Usually, people do things for the people that they like. That's it. And
true.
it means it's so important that you need to nurture those relationships. Even if you are not happy with somebody today, that person can be your savior tomorrow. Don't collapse that.
100%.
Don't collapse that relationship beyond, uh, rescue. You need to make sure that the same person who's annoying you today, you leave some space, some room for communication. You never know which door they can open for you in the future. But absolutely inspiring, Alisha. It's.
That's actually a good point,
Mm,
because I feel like another momentous moment was when I had my first unhappy patient. Everybody in business has unhappy customers. And
mm,
if they don't, please give me the secret to that, because like, everybody has unhappy customers. And when you have someone that's unhappy with either you or your practice or your staff or something like that, I'm not going to take offense. I'm going to say, okay, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but how can I, as a practitioner or as a business owner, help change this so we don't face this problem again? And you learn from these mistakes, and you learn from these experiences and unhappy
mm.
customers or patients or whatever it may be. So it's a learning curve, and you have to go from wherever. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why it's important for an entrepreneur to adopt an attitude of lifelong learning. meaning
Yes.
that if we were perfect, and I'm sure there's no one who can say, I've never had an unhappy customer, then it means you are a perfect human being. And there's no perfect human being. And if you look uh, at an entrepreneur, especially a successful one, and a promising entrepreneur like yourself, it is a result, success is a result of getting things, trying, getting things wrong, learning from that situation and becoming a better person. So we are always changing. If you tell me that I've never changed, then you are not learning. So it means an entrepreneur must really be prepared to learn. And it's so in your role as a podiatrist, as a person who's looking after patients, obviously being an entrepreneur comes with an immense sense of responsibility, but now to be responsible for the health of another person, I don't even want to know how it feels, because I'm the least person to be able to look after a patient. I don't think I have it within me. That's why I'm in awe of people like yourself. You talked about your receptionist who has paid off her house. That's one thing I noted with you, Alisha, when you were talking there. And it's something that it's a value that I share, that our success must be shared. And I believe that the value of life, happiness is not just what you are able to amass for yourself, but the impact that you make on the people around you, like your receptionist. I mean, you can't buy that feeling that you have to help your receptionist pay off their house. Uh, by that, I want to ask you, what has been the impact of of your business on yourself first? Because absolutely, you can't give what you don't have. You couldn't have assisted that receptionist to pay off her house if you didn't have something, a certain measure of success within you. What has been the impact of the business on yourself and the people around you, in addition to the receptionist that you've just mentioned?
So I think being a entrepreneur has really helped me become, or like get into my own, like become my own person. A reason being is from childhood, like school, university, you're very like all over the place. You're like, okay, so who am I? What am I supposed to do? Like, what is this supposed to be? And then when I became an entrepreneur, I was like, okay, I found my calling, because this is what I feel like truly brings me joy. Like I could work in for with my business stuff for hours and not get tired, and like really enjoy it and really have that passion and that fuel, because it makes me happy doing it. So it's
Hmm.
my owning a business has brought me such happiness. And sometimes I wouldn't say all the time you feel complete, because you get that stress, but you feel like, okay, this is where I belong. This is what brings me happy. This is what's going to help me grow within my life. And I mean, like, from this, I've been able to financially support my family. And that has been everything, because I mean, like, you can buy your mom gifts. I mean, like, I've paid off my car, I've bought a new car.
Wow.
And so it's brought me financial, I wouldn't say stability, because I'm still getting there,
Mhm.
but it's brought me financial happiness in terms of like, okay, I'm not in a space where I'm like worried about can we afford such things. You get time
Yeah.
in business where things go a little bit bad and you are there. But now I've been able to say, you know what, I can financially support my family and buy nice things. I mean, I bought an iPhone. I never had that opportunity to buy an iPhone, and
Yeah.
I bought an iPhone.
Hmm.
I even got to go on a plane for the first time ever last year, which
And
was
it was last year. Okay.
last year. I was
Hmm.
like 25, and I was like, a plane, I could go on a plane.
Yeah.
And it was all because of my business and all because of the opportunities I got through my business. So
Mhm.
it's brought me so many new experiences. Um, yeah, and I feel like it's such an honor to do this. It's really, yeah.
And looking at your progress, I think that plane is one of many to come, because I
Yes.
can see you going halfway around the world with the drive, the determination, and the momentum with which you are taking off. I think You are really going places. So, tell me, what does success look like for you, to you? When is it that you would say, I'm successful? I know I'm going back to that comment of yours that within 3 to 5 years, this is where I want to see myself. When I just want to officially ask that question now, when would you say you have made it?
I would love to be a keynote speaker or like an inspirational speaker, but I feel like to get there, I have to go through my own journeys and my own challenges and my own successes. And one day when I reach to say a place when people ask me for advice or they come and they're like, Alisha, would you like to purchase percentage off a business? Or, like, would you like to speak at an event that's in front of 1,000 people based on your
Mm,
experience and based on your
mm.
achievements? I feel like at that point, will I WhatsApp you and say, I've reached, I've reached the level of success that I want to. So I feel like I'm still getting there, still growing. Haven't reached it yet, but I've put goals in place to try and get there.
Wow, that's interesting. Now you've got 3 branches, and if you ask me, it sounds like you achieved in a very short space of time. How many, what are your objectives in terms of market coverage? Do you see Alisha Elbeharie, Podiatrist, uh, you know, operating every province, or what exactly, where exactly do you want to see yourself? How far do you want to take this thing of opening branches
I want to be national. I
national?
literally want to have a podiatrist servicing the community in every single province, if it may be multiple branches amongst a province, because being a podiatrist, we're a very rare breed and
Yeah.
it's such a need. I mean, everybody's got feet problems. If you've got 2 feet, they ache, they pain, they cause you issues sometimes. And that's where a podiatrist needs to come into play. So I feel like my goal would look like having multiple branches across the country,
Mhm.
giving jobs to multiple podiatrists, and then growing from there.
Okay, thank you very much. As we move towards uh, winding down the interview, I just want to know from you, what are your hopes and fears for the future?
I would say let's start with the fears because that I feel is what drives me sometimes.
Mhm.
I I am always nervous about financial stability and having that as a business owner because you don't have like a set job where you get a salary at the end of the month. You don't have to really worry about it. So my fear would definitely be having an issue with financial stability. But
Mhm.
with fears come preparation. And if you foresee that fear, okay, maybe in a few months time things are not going to look good. I mean, like now towards the end of the year we don't always have a lot of patients coming through because medical aids are finished,
Mhm.
people want to go on holiday. So at the beginning of the year you try and say, okay, let me pre-plan for something like that. So I think one of my fears would be financial stability. um Another one would be I have big imposter syndrome sometimes, so it does
Yeah.
scare me a little bit when I'm asked to do like this interview. You really shocked me. I was like, me? You want me to be on your channel? I'm like so honored, but like me, really, you know? So you have that imposter syndrome. So I feel like that is definitely a fear. But at the end of the day, if you don't have those fears, you won't be able to try new things and learn about yourself and learn about new opportunities. And I wouldn't have had this opportunity with you if I'm like, no, sorry, I'm scared. I don't want to, you know? So
Wow,
that is definitely something.
the feeling is mutual.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
my goals, I feel like I want to grow within myself as an entrepreneur and as a female and
Mhm.
actually achieve a lot more in a space that's mainly male dominated because the healthcare is
Mm.
definitely male
It
dominated.
is,
So I
yeah.
want to make a dent.
Wow.
I want to make a dent.
Tell me
I don't
something.
know how I'm going to make the dent, but I'm going to make the dent.
Tell me something. You mentioned awards as you began, and you didn't go deep into that. And obviously, you were expecting me to. Can you please take a minute and tell us about some of the important awards that you have achieved? Because I think that's so amazing. and your feeling for making the first million in your in your business.
That was scary. That was like, what? So with the awards, I've won, I've actually got it here next to me. The Best Lower Limb Care Provider for 2023 from the African Excellence Awards.
Hmm.
Then I've won the Most Trusted Podiatrist 2024 in KZN from the Lux Life Health, Beauty and Wellness Awards.
Wow.
I was nominated for the KZN, I think it's the KZN Business Women in Business Awards, the She Awards as well. I'm in the last stage now, so we're gonna see if I win that. And then I feel like it's an award to me being a part of the Podiatry Association of South Africa as their KZN branch chair. I feel like that is an award to me. I mean, like,
Yeah.
an association. It's like so cool. So those are some of the awards that I have, but I have been trying to put my name out there because I don't want to sit back and wait for opportunities to come to me. I'd rather go out there and find them and build from there, because if you wait for something, it's going to take longer than it's supposed to.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what, Alisha, I had to have this interview with you because I just said, wow, uh, this person, this entrepreneur, I have to talk to her. And I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm laughing at myself in a way because I've got this video on how to handle online meetings, and the next thing I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm not in Gauteng. I'm home in Limpopo in a makeshift studio of sort, and the cat just runs through your feet, and I'm not a cat person sometimes, so I had to do it at all costs, even when it was not so convenient. But yeah, you'll pardon me for the logistical challenges for and whatever that has gone
worries
on
at
during
all.
this interview. But I just want to appreciate you a lot, and I believe this won't be for the last time. You are making such an impact on the lives of others and everyone who comes across you, because you just have such a powerful story to tell. So I just want to thank you a lot.
I really appreciate that. I mean, like, don't worry, the feeling of being nervous is shared because I'm also a little bit like imposter syndrome, as I said, but I feel so honored that you would want to interview me. I mean, like, oh, the other award we won was with CETA as
Yes,
Best Youth Owned
the
Business.
mentorship one.
Ah, there we go.
As recent as yesterday. I
As
understand
yesterday.
there are too many. You can't keep up with the awards, and I'm sure
But
there'll
it's
be
good.
many to come. You better be renting a storage facility for those awards, because I see you scooping a lot of awards. Alisha, it
I
was
am so excited.
wonderful to have you on the channel, and I'm looking forward to talking to you in future as you begin to break those barriers. Any parting shot from you?
Sorry, you know, repeat that for me?
Any comment that you would like, final comment that you'd like to make as we finish this discussion?
So I want to say thank you so much for having me. And a piece of advice that I would like to give other young entrepreneurs coming out there is
Yes.
try all the opportunities you can. And if there's no opportunities, you go out there and you find them or you make them and you try and grow your business from there, because sitting back waiting for opportunities to come to you will not benefit you. Go out there, make those dents in your industry, make those moves, and yeah, and grow. And if someone tells you no, you're talking to the wrong person, as Christiana says. You're talking to the
Absolutely.
wrong person. So
Absolutely. As you say in KZN, uzoyithola kanjani uhleli ekhoneni? Meaning that you've got to
exactly.
stand up. Yeah, get out of your armchair and make it
You
happen.
have to.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
You have to.
Alisha. And yeah, I like your story. I like Ladysmith, such a wonderful place with wonderful
Thank you.
young entrepreneurs who are movers and shakers in their own right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome.
Thank you. And you take care and enjoy home.
I will. Same to you.